Hey, good morning. It's Edna here live with Mindset Monday. And today's topic is a very, very important one because I think we all get stuck here sometimes. And that's how to deal with people who focus on the negative. And actually, I just had a really interesting conversation with one of my mastermind members who who joined us via Zoom this weekend for our mastermind. And it was tough for her because it's just different when it's live. And being at home in Minneapolis, she's a realtor. She got sucked into doing an open house. So she's paying a massive amount of money each year to belong to this mastermind, and she realizes how important it is to actually be there. Even though it costs you the extra money to get there, it's so huge. So we chatted about that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the call. But I wanted to share with you how do we get away from people who are negative, or how to handle people who are negative around us. So first of all, sometimes it sneaks up on you, and a good conversation can go bad very quickly. As soon as you notice it, stop it, and go back to putting a positive spin on it. So one of the ways to put a positive spin on everything negative, and real negative people will kind of laugh at you when you try to do this, but try to get them to think differently, which is, what's good about this? What could be good about this if something good had to come out of it? You know? And I want you to think back to a time when maybe something bad happened to you that it was just devastating for you at the time, and in the long run, it ended up being excellent. That could be a failed marriage. And then maybe just the kids that you guys ended up with because of the marriage. You know, we can focus on anything. It could be a failed business that taught you so much than by actually going through it. It could be, one of my assistants one time, I remember telling me, I'm actually really happy that I'm a little on the heavy side. She says, I love cooking. I enjoy cooking. And she says, and I love working out. So she says, I have a good meal. The next morning I get up and I go for a run and I just feel amazing. She says, I actually feel sorry for people who are naturally thin and so therefore feel like they never have to work out because they miss that great feeling of working out. How about that for a positive spin on stuff? How about the spin on, I read this story just the other day. They were saying that Muhammad Ali had got this bicycle when he was young, and he just loved it. It was brand new, and he rode it everywhere. Him and his buddies all rode their bikes everywhere. It was amazing. He spent hours on this bike, and then one day, him and his buddies got caught in a rainstorm. So they were forced to leave their bikes outside and go inside, and I think it was at a gym or something. And they went inside, and that's where Muhammad Ali was introduced to boxing. So guess what his spin is on that? Not, I lost my bike, it's, holy Hannah, I got introduced to boxing. So how could something that maybe even feels bad or negative today, how could you put that positive spin on it? And from the reading and the studying that I'm doing, one of the things I've learned is the fastest way that you can start looking for that positive spin, the faster you can come out of that funk. We've had a business failure, a dismal failure. We paid a large amount of money for a construction business that turned into a nightmare. The person we bought it from took a lot of the upfront money that should have helped us finish the projects, and we ended up with, just all kinds of things went wrong with it. But you know what? It teaches you stuff that losing $350,000 would not teach you. And it's amazing what we learned through that procedure. And we could get stuck, and there were times we did, oh my God, this is so terrible, and we hate this guy, and we hate that guy, and how could this happen to us, and how could we be so stupid, and we should have did this, and we should have did that. But you know what? I refuse to live there. I absolutely refuse to live there. And if my husband tries to live there, I kick his butt verbally and make him get out of that spin, and finally we just decided, you know what, we're just closing the doors. We're taking our loss. We are not thinking about that anymore. And you know what? Amazing the new business opportunities that come to us in the meantime that will so overwhelm what that business could have ever been for us. Another thing we learned is we do not like dealing with trades and being in the construction industry. It seems to us like it's a dirty business, and we didn't like it. We didn't like dealing with the people we were dealing with on both sides, and so it was not a good fit for us. And sometimes you learn something is not a good fit for you by having it not work out for you. So again, where can you put a positive spin? You know what? I never went to university, but I probably am more educated than 90% of people who spent 8 years in university, and I make more money. So who's right? Who's wrong? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not somebody who can do all that stuff. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even want to. But I can earn more money and have free time and really love what I do. So maybe that not being so smart in school or being a C student instead of an A student fits my personality perfectly. Even to this day, I don't feel like I'm the smartest person in the room ever. I learn from everybody. Even just the other day when I was interviewing people for a caretaking position at our building, I learned something new from I learned more than one thing new from some of the fellows that were applying for the position. So this position, just so you know, will, pay these guys maybe $1,000 a month or save them $1,000 a month on rent. Am I derogatory to people like that? Absolutely not. They are very, very valuable team members. And they'll rock that job way more than I could ever. And can I learn stuff from them? Absolutely. Wednesday night, we are having a new property management firm in our city. And they've got some stuff that they do that we don't do. So I reached out to my property manager, and who's also my daughter, and I got a blast for it. But I said, you know what? I really think you should come. I've checked out their website. They're doing different stuff than we're doing. I said, we can learn from everybody. He's there doing a free presentation for us. And I said, you'll have questions that the rest of us won't even think about. You'll also be telling us the stuff you're already doing that we might think we're learning. Because she does that to me all the time. I'll find out something and I'll say, oh, Dawn, we should incorporate this. And she'll go, Mom, I've been doing that from day one, So, but that's the thing. And I'm teaching her to work on her business as opposed to working in it all the time. She's going through a learning curve right now. She just took on 66 units remotely, and she's finding that there's cost to her that she never considered, like all the printing papers and the running back and forth. And so just brainstorming this morning, maybe we'll set up an onboarding fee for stuff like that, an hour, and I said to her, make it hourly, because she was saying, some of the people when I'm out there, I'm like, let's get this done. And they're la da da. And you got to cater to them because they're people. That's how they work. That's where they're good at it. I said, so go hourly rate. Don't go piecemeal, because then you're going to be rushing people and they're not going to like that. And so what can you learn from this? So where in your life is there something that you could take a negative and make it into a positive right now? I think I just seen Mark join. Mark just had some challenges with his contractor. Brought it up on the Tuesday night call. We talked it through. He fired him, and he went and found a new one. Boom, the work is progressing much faster. And not even necessarily that the guy is a bad guy. We learned through building our own house that sometimes plumbers, different people like that, will quote a whole bunch of jobs, not knowing what they're going to get. reduce their prices because they didn't get as much as they got last year and get so much more that they can't even keep up. Well, sometimes instead of letting some of that go or hiring a subcontractor, they just try to work everybody in and get it all done. And instead of anybody being happy, everybody's ticked off, right? So how can you learn from something like that? And, maybe those plumbers could build a relationship with another plumber who maybe didn't get as much work this year, and you can subcontract, still make a bit, but at least keep your reputation intact. Or think about that. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see such a nice group on here this morning. And a lot of my examples are work related, but think about my assistant's example, who is, I'm so glad I'm predisposed to being a little bit on the heavy side if I didn't work out, because I feel so great when I work out. Where's somewhere else you could put a positive spin on that? I have 2 teenage daughters that tend to be a little challenging at times. And, they've got minds of their own. They absolutely do. And I love that about them. And sometimes I find myself trying to run their life because I'm the mom, right? And I got to step back and think, you know what? I raised these girls to be independent. Where's the positive spin on that when they tell you, Mom, you don't know everything, or no, I want to, hang out with my friends. You're on your phone call tonight. You're not even going to be around. Oh yeah, that's true. Well, try to be home for supper. Well, try, but it doesn't always work with the car. You know what I mean? Let them run their own life. That's another thing that I learned. I went through that with my oldest daughter, fighting with her about everything. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And, very headstrong young lady. And that didn't work. She didn't want me telling her what to do. I was headstrong. I hated people telling me what to do. Even to this day, if people try telling me what to do, it's usually not a good relationship. But if they teach me and help me think how I can just incorporate it into my life and make it my own idea, then I'm totally on board, right? But try telling me what to do, and it's that doesn't work. So even getting to know yourself and letting people know how you need to be talked to in order to get your cooperation. Again, a little bit of an aside, but for years and years, I fought with my older sister about doing dishes. And I said to her, finally one day I said, you know what, there's lots of things you can love about me and lots of things you could probably hate about me. Your choice. You decide what you want to focus on. And although she's not my favorite person in the world, I tend to try to focus on what I do like about her. She's very loving. She's very caring. Even though she spins to the negative, she loves everybody around her. So, where you may be putting an onus on somebody where it's really you that needs to change. That's another thing. And you know what? And when you're around people who are chronically negative and you can't help them change, realize that you don't have to keep them in your life, whether it's your mother, your father, your kids. And if they want to be part of your life, set some boundaries. Let them know that, no, I don't put up with that crap. I don't put up with you swearing at me. I don't put up with you hanging up on me. I don't put up with you being so miserable all the time. If you want to be miserable, you go home and be miserable. And then you want to be fun, you come back and be fun with me. You guys get to set those boundaries. And you have to decide. And if you choose to let that negative spouse, that negative neighbor, that negative kid, that negative sibling be in your life and make you miserable, well then just reduce the time you spend with them. And try to just focus on the positive aspects of them. You got beautiful hair. I don't like a word that comes out of your mouth, but you got beautiful hair. And you know what? That could be the end of your conversation. Instead of saying, oh, you just drive me crazy. I can't stand you. You get up and you go, you got beautiful hair. I got to leave. You got beautiful hair. I got to leave. Why not? That's good, right? That's your positive spin. And don't get drawn into the drama. Don't get drawn into other people's crap. And sometimes people are not negative people. They're just having a negative experience. That's where you can help them, and just ask them, what's good about this? What do you think you could learn from this if you needed to? How could you make sure this doesn't happen to you again? And a lot of times it's not outside of us that's causing the challenge. It's inside of us that's causing that challenge. Maybe it's our own negative spin on things that's causing our challenges, whatever it happens to be. Again, like I've said many times, change your mindset, change your life. So hopefully you got value out of today's call. If you have some special topics you'd like me to talk about, or if you find that a topic really resonates with you and you know people that you'd like to share this with, maybe somebody who you want to tell, you got great hair. You could send them my video and let them hear the spin on, you got great hair. And it could be funny. They could get mad at you, so don't blame me for that. You decide if it's a good person to send it to. Or you could just say, yeah, that's Edna's spin on life. You blame her, you don't blame me. So maybe you can do that. So like, comment, share. I appreciate that. If you have any other Mindset Monday topics you'd like me to talk about, reach out to me at edna@ednakeep.com. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks very much. Have a really, really good day.